Welcome to another edition of FVTV, and we have with us our Grand Master, most worshipful brother, Richard Elkington. Hi, Richard.
G'day, Ash. How are you?
I'm terrific, thank you. We're recording this on Thursday, May the 27th, and the announcement has just been made by the state government that there's a 7-day lockdown across all of Victoria, and that has an effect on all lodges and Masonic centres, Richard.
It certainly does. And in fact, it's already the restrictions that were in place prior to the announcement of a lockdown have already directly impacted on the way we operate. This is going to, I guess, disturb a number of lodges who are looking forward to installations or other events. But however, we have no choice in the matter. This is state government decision. We have to comply, and at the end of the day, we can take some comfort that it's being done for the safety, health and safety of all of our members. So I know Graham Berry's already been in touch with those lodges who were due to have installations in the next week or so about rescheduling. And I guess that's all we can do. What we're actually already finding is that, you know, historically, June and July were fairly quiet months. We're finding June and July this year is far from quiet, and it's certainly not going to be quiet this year because already some of the June installations have had to move forward. Some of the installations end of May had to move forward. So
I guess we're going to perhaps see a number of lodges of emergency called so that people can catch up with their work.
Well, that's already occurring.
Yes.
I read your Freemasons Victoria news whenever it comes out. Yep. Read it assiduously, Ash. You'd like me pleased to know that. Read it assiduously. And I notice already some lodges are having emergency meetings just simply to process initiate candidates, which is something that really hasn't been seen for a long time.
Now, amongst the listings on FV News, there have been those many installations, and you've been at a lot of them. Could you tell us a little bit about what's been happening when you've been doing your rounds?
You're right, and we've been to a number of installations. I try not to do as many installations, but give the majority of the installations to our Grand Wardens, who really get 1 year opportunity to do the ceremonial work that's attached to their position. But having said that, I've been to a number of lodge installations, both in country Victoria and in metropolitan Melbourne. And what I'm seeing is a great deal of enthusiasm indeed. We're seeing hosts of fellow crafts and entered apprentices at most installations. We're seeing I've seen young masters going into office. I mean, one stands out, and that was the 30-year-old master of Barratt Lodge, who at his installation at the banquet recounted the reason he joined Freemasonry. It was because of the influence of his mentor, who happened to be a member of Freemasonry. His mentor was at the school, who suggested that getting a lower than anticipated enter score was not the end of the world. There's a whole life in front of him, and he joined Freemasonry. And he said that Freemasonry for him was a great institution, and that assisted him to be the best possible person he could be. And I thought, this guy's been channeling Ash Long, which is the sort of words you've been consistently using for the last 18 months. So I actually thought, wow, this is really powerful stuff coming from a young worshipful master and his wife. His wife was also more than glad to assist him in his Masonic journey, given the impact that it had on him.
That's an absolute thrill to hear.
Well, it is actually. And then I've been to a number of other lodges where I mean, one was Altona, and that lodge stands out for its number of young men who are members. I saw a first degree ceremony being conducted where every charge, bar about one, I think, was given by either a master mason or a fellow craft.
Yeah.
And they put a lot of work into their ritual and their ceremonial, and it was nigh on perfect. And it shows you really that young people really are very keen to do the ritual and the ceremonial and do it well. And when I usually take the opportunity when I'm going around lodges to, when I come across, as I often do, candidates for Freemasonry who've been invited to come to the installation or some other meeting when they come to the south, I always take the opportunity to ask them, why are you joining? Now,
what do they say?
Almost universally, they say, looking for some guidance in life, looking for a sort of belief system that's not dogma, looking for fellowship, looking to sort of join a network, looking to have some fun. And so it's all real. Sometimes we get very negative about our organisation. I and others cop a lot of criticism for things not happening and things not going the right way. But at the end of the day, men are seeking to join our organisation in quite large numbers. To the extent, and I'm terrible on detail, but I believe that we've had something like mid-200s initiates already this year.
Well, some of the work of the membership volunteer action team, headed by Paul Brennan and his team, they are a team of absolute stars. They're fully committed to making sure that we retain members, that we keep them, but also attract members. And the figures that Paul and his team are producing are quite incredible.
Absolutely are. And of course, they're supported by the membership team in Freemasons Victoria office.
Yes.
And Damien and others are processing new candidates, potential candidates at a quite brisk rate. And so we haven't got so many sort of clogged up in the pipeline that we used to have. Yes. And so we're dealing much quicker and more effectively with candidates, and then pushing them into lodges of their selection. And then some lodges actually, as I mentioned earlier, some lodges are having emergency meetings just to deal with the numbers of candidates they have. And I was talking with the master of Morwell Lodge today in my backyard, and I'm doing the installation tonight. They've got 3 potential candidates for Morwell. They haven't seen candidates in quite a long time.
So you are going to get an installation in before the lockdown, are you?
Yeah, the last one.
So you'll all be wearing masks?
No, because we're in regional Victoria.
Okay.
We're in regional Victoria. Don't have to wear masks
until midnight.
Until midnight. The deputy Grand Master was going to be doing the installation.
Yes.
But given he can't get back for midnight, I'm doing it, and I'm doing it with the Gippsland team, because essentially, if you come from Melbourne, you've got to be back there before midnight. So what I'm really saying is, we've had so many candidates, we've actually reduced the average age of the members to about 66.
But the age of the candidates, many of them, is in their 30s.
The average age is something like between 39, I think it is, 39.
Yes.
And so they're all enthusiastic. They're all joining an organisation which they believe is relevant and that they value. And that's the exciting part.
Well, it certainly is, because possibility thinking and positive thinking means that these guys who are now 39 will be with the craft for a long, long time, and it gives them possibilities to join other orders as well. And so that's a healthy sign for all parts of Freemasonry in Victoria.
So I reckon we know this is a great organisation doing great things, and that's recognised by young people, and they're joining, as we've said, they're joining in numbers. The challenge is for us in the organisation to not only to make them welcome, but to match their expectations with the experience we give them, so that we
Richard,
don't
talking about
lose
great
candidates.
things, the foundation is doing some great things at the moment. And I know that Rodney Lavin and a whole crew from the foundation were in Geelong yesterday. In the previous weeks, they'd been around Mortlake and Warrnambool. There was a presentation yesterday to the Hope Bereavement Organisation for their support after suicide. I think they presented a cheque of something like $122,000. Could you tell us a bit more about the work of the foundation and how it happens?
Well, I think the work of the foundation is absolutely fabulous. They've got a very good board. They are well led by Rod Lavin. They are pursuing charitable causes which are relevant to Freemasons. So they're not the favourite charities of the members of the board. They're ones which have relevance to Freemasons. Hence, involvement with cancer care. Hence, involvement with suicide prevention and mental health. And I'm assured by Rod that mental health, the pursuit of mental health improvement in the community and amongst Freemasons is a priority of the foundation. So they're a board which is very good. They're pursuing the right sort of, in my view, the right sort of charitable institutions to support. And they have, I think we owe them a great deal of confidence that what they're doing benefits the organisation. And we actually get some leverage from that as an organisation, from all of those good works. Because if I hear one thing from members, it's about, well, we give all this money away, but what is it actually doing to our brand, our reputation, enhancing the advertising? How are we actually getting the benefit from this?
Yes.
And we do. And yes, that's one of your roles, I think, as Grand Superintendent of the Communication. I don't need to tell you what your role is. You know what it is. One of those is actually getting some value from these charitable institutions that we associate with.
So, Richard, while we're talking about the foundation will be moving into the second floor in at East Melbourne. So will Chapter and Mark. The Craft Grand Secretariat will be there together. So everyone's going to be together with a closer working relationship. How's all that happening?
Well, that's right, Ash. And at long last, we're having the co-location of the foundation, Chapter and Mark, and the Craft, like we had on the temporary basis at Mowbray Street.
Yes.
And we had in a form at Dallas Brooks Centre. So it's taken us a long time. You'd remember that we dedicated that building back in beginning of November 2019. We were in lockdown most of last year. We've now reshaped the accommodation. So there is more accommodation for staff on the second floor, and which provides a much better utilisation of space for staff. And also, we've refashioned Lodge Room 2 from a multi-purpose room into a lodge room and utilised some of the, heritage furniture that we have. So it will essentially be a lodge room. And so that will be officially launched sometime in the near future.
And there's possibilities for lodges who meet elsewhere to perhaps move a meeting once a year or something, to even just have a special meeting at Lodge Room number 2 or Lodge Room number 1 if they're available.
Absolutely correct. And of course, one thing it's quickly forgotten actually is that the Eastbourne, where Freemasons Melbourne is in fact a community of a large number of apartment holders. And so the facilities are available to be rented by them in that centre.
Yes.
We are currently negotiating for catering, cafe, restaurant, and a bar area, provision of services. So hopefully, in the very near future, we'll have a fully functioning and operating Masonic Centre, which provides catering, which provides a coffee shop service, which provides a restaurant, and which provides a bar area on the first floor, which can be used for meetings. So
Yeah,
I actually think we're going to end up with an excellent facility. Actually,
yeah. Richard, just to wrap it up in this edition of FV News, there's some exciting developments. One of them is the formation of a lodge with Indian heritage. Could you give some details of what that lodge is about and some of the other developments?
Yeah, there's a lodge called the Barratt Lodge, which is going to be formed at the end of July at Bayside. So there'll be a consecration of a new lodge and installation associated with that. It's been formed through the initiative of a number of brethren, like Ravi Rajan, like Ravinder Semi. I think Michael Maher was also involved with it as well. The paperwork's been in for a long time. The process was held up by COVID, and so they proposed to work Victorian ritual, but have an Indian Bollywood themed festive party.
Isn't that great?
Well, I think it is great actually, and so it's again another endeavour to provide fun and learning in a Masonic context. So I'm really looking forward to the commencement of Barratt Lodge and having some fun and having some Indian food as well. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's marvellous. Richard, everything is sounding positive. We've come a long way in the past 18 months.
I could talk a lot about the initiatives being pursued by the Grand Superintendent of the membership in regional Victoria, Mildura, the geo-specific marketing campaigns. Yes. There's a lot of things happening to get resigned members back to market and recruit new members, to work with individual districts and lodges on trying to make them successful. I like doing that sort of work myself. I'm happy to meet with lodges that are perhaps on the brink, talk about their future.
So things are looking up, aren't they?
Well, I think
membership
they are,
numbers
actually.
are looking positive.
Yes.
And it's been the first time in a long time that we've been able to say that with confidence.
Absolutely. And we, in many ways, and you're ahead of the VAT on comms and marketing, we really haven't put a lot of marketing information out there. I know you're running some adverts as a media baron of suburban Melbourne. You're running some ads. You're running some ads in your papers, which are successful. You're actually getting inquiries from those.
Yes, we are.
But we really haven't put a lot of effort into marketing the organisation.
Well, as we come out of COVID,
we
will now have those opportunities to
absolutely
speak with the community.
Absolutely.
And we're laying down the foundations for those conversations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Richard, thank you very much for your time today. We look forward, hopefully, to be coming out of COVID restrictions as soon as possible. And I guess the emphasis is everyone's enjoying getting back to lodge.
Oh, aren't we what? This is what so cheeses me off about this restrictions tonight. I'm just getting sort of worked up with it after a couple of months. Now it's kind of coming to a halt for a week.
Richard Elkington, our Grand Master, thank you for your time. You've been watching FV TV.